Fellas.
Dude, energy is so high right now.
Let's do this.
I got so much energy for today's show.
Wow.
We got a side conversation going on. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. What a show we have for you today. So excited for it because we're going to talk about Westbrook. We haven't actually got to Westbrook this offseason.
Nope,
We've talked around it a little bit, but there almost feels maybe some momentum for him being back. How do you feel about that? We're going to do, you guys don't even know the game we're going to play a little bit later. I'm going to give you some scenarios.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, are you ecstatic, a 10, or a 1, completely distraught?
I'm at a 10 right now.
And then later on in the show, we are going to snake draft pet peeves. Man. Cannot wait for it.
Wow.
Brennan Vogt's in the house.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when you're on a podcast and the host tosses it to you and you don't have something prepared.
I hate that too. I give you, you know what? As a host, I also have that same pet peeve.
Yeah,
that's pretty
that's
great.
why
You
today
just
I came
telling me
prepared
about that.
with this one.
There it is. What a fun little. That was like a Ouroboros of an
That's
anecdote.
right. Yeah, I don't know what you just said, but
Over
I
here,
agree.
D-Line Co.
Are you holding your passport? What's going on?
No, this is my Springfield Leather Company notebook, and it's because I hand wrote my big board for today's thing.
Gotcha. It looks just like a passport.
Like an old school scout.
No, nobody reads off of more things than Brendan Vogt, be it a laptop, a phone.
He's a great reader.
He is a great reader.
I'll be looking at some of the Superchats and he's reading. I'm like,
Man,
how
good
are
work.
you doing this? It's witchcraft.
Unbelievable.
Then rounding out the show, that's
Let's
right.
go, dude.
Superstar Dev.
More air horns.
Man, it feels so good to be back. It feels so good. I missed you guys.
Missed
and
you
I don't
too.
say
You,
that
man.
much.
You've never said it once. This is the first time I've ever
I don't
heard you
even
say
think you
that
meant
often.
it. It's great to hear.
It
Never
really
heard that
is one of
before.
these days. I'm just feeling great. Is it because the Thunder lost? Really, the Pacers won, which
definitely
my
not for
Pacers.
that
I think it is that.
It might be that. It's also, Top Taco. Going to that later on.
Dang.
Me and my
All
guy
kind of
Dev,
things.
little Top Taco.
All kind of things
It's my
going on.
favorite.
We're doing a little Top Taco. But honestly, and it's just a beautiful day in Colorado. It just this weather just feels amazing. But no, it is the finals because last night, Game 3, such an important one, and it was a fantastic game. These two teams really deserve to be there, in my opinion. They both execute better than anyone else. Oklahoma City on the defensive end, Indiana on the offensive end. And last night was just a phenomenal game that the Pacers won. And guys, the Pacers are the most connected team in basketball this year. And it is why they are up 2-1 in the playoffs. You look at the talent; they have talent on that roster. Pretty
They
good
do.
talent,
They have
really
pretty
good
good
talent.
talent, yeah.
Not crazy talent. That's why nobody picked them. But God, watching that team play together, play connected, including in the clutch when they went on that huge run. This is what I love about basketball. When teams get to that level, Dev, it's my favorite thing to watch.
That's just a group of guys that truly believe. Like, it never feels like they're, out of it. And we've seen them come back from games, but they're just poised. And you talk about that connectedness and just being on the same page. They go on runs, they allow runs, but they stay true to themselves. They're not trying to overthink or overplay or go away from things that aren't working. They're like, we're going to get to it, and they believe in their bench. Adam, would you say it just feels a little bit familiar?
It feels so familiar to me. And that's why I enjoy watching it. Because my core belief about basketball, talent matters, athleticism matters. All those things contribute to your the odds you have, the margin that you have. Talent, height, athleticism, skill, shooting, all these things widen the margin of error. But that margin can be closed with a team that plays connected. And the Pacers have a lot of flawed players. Like we talk about the Nuggets, too many one-way guys, too many this, that, I don't know if shooting. The Pacers have things Nuggets don't have, but they also have weaknesses the Nuggets don't have. But my God, that team is just connected in a way that is like, you said they don't get rattled? I agree. Because they're not just one guy out there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, we got this.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Like the craziest part for me was looking, and I tweeted afterwards that distribution of points was so bizarre. Like a bunch from bench.
Yeah.
Like it was
49 points from the bench.
Yes. But it's because it's not just on, can this guy overcome? It's like, okay, well, maybe Benedict Mathurin will have a game. Maybe it'll be our guy Halliburton. Maybe it'll be Pascal Siakam. It's the depth and the connectedness and the fact that they don't, just have one way to attack.
Yeah.
And then how about last night? The defense. So
their defense is incredible.
One of the things, and that was it was the whole, right? Like if you wanted to do a surface level take on the Pacers, great team, their defense isn't good enough. Let's say months ago, right? That's what you might have said. Last night it looked great. And one of the things that depth and connection provides you is the ability to do things like pick up SGA full court all night.
Yeah.
Teams do that to Jamal. Sometimes we think, why doesn't Denver do that because Denver's running 6 guys and it's exhausting to pick guys up full court.
It's actually more tiring to do that defensively than it is offensively.
But when you have a small army of players who can come in and contribute or alleviate the burden, talk about a Thunder team that hasn't, 7 against Denver, but outside of that, mostly cruised, a lot of depth. SGA in the fourth quarter last night, 2 hands on his knees.
He was dead tired.
He was exhausted, and the Pacers did that to him.
Yeah.
So credit them. We talked about the Nuggets. You become greater than the sum of your parts when you have a special season. And I think the Nuggets were the best team that year, but they went 16-4 because they reached that level.
100%.
And the Pacers, who probably on paper are not the best team in the NBA, on paper, look like it right now because of that dynamic.
100%. They have a smart coach. I was actually talking to Legs about this on All NBA this morning, but because all playoffs, they've been so calm. They haven't been rattled. And my thought is, when your foundation is intelligence and connection, it's like you go to the drawing board, you go to practice, you go to shoot around, you're like, what's our game plan? And you're smart enough to know it and be able to execute it because you've built that muscle all year. You're really strong in the mental part of the game. So what varies from game to game is how hard do you play and do I make shots? But those things are almost easier to focus on, where I think the Thunder are the opposite. Like most teams, their foundation is playing really hard and aggressive defensively, but then they have to figure the game out. And it's like, this is tough. We have to do this. And I think the Pacers just go into every game going, we know exactly what we have to do. Whether or not we can do it, who knows? But we know what we have to do, so let's just go out there and play hard. And that's what I think the Nuggets were in 2023. And even this year, I think the Nuggets were there. They just didn't quite get high enough. But you watch, the Thunder have only struggled twice against the Nuggets and now against the Pacers. They both are this ball movement connected team that makes their defense look vulnerable.
It's also like just the pace of them. Like they're just all offense, and then they surprise you with the defense out of nowhere because you're so keyed in, so locked in on how do we slow them down?
Yeah.
How do we try to change their game plan there? And I think that's where the coaching comes into play, is because he doesn't get high or low. Like he's as poised as the team is. He's not doing all types of crazy timeouts, in the middle of runs. When the other team goes on a run, he's also calm, and they have just so many X factors and like people that just out of nowhere are going to change that. And we saw that with like the Bruce Brown. We saw that when you bring in a Christian Brown that's just like out of nowhere. But they're on the same page of that, and then turning on that switch on defense. That's where the Pacers, that's where they won that game last night, was the defensive end when it's a team that plays all offense. It is beautiful to see. It is, we don't have to just make shots every single time, but when we do, what are you going to do about that? So like, I really, watching this, you really enjoy like the nuances of the game.
It was also interesting seeing Oklahoma City get rattled. And this is the part about being young. OKC has the issue in that Denver pushed them to 7 games. They overcame it. They got the Game 7 win. That was big for them. I don't think they were tested in the conference finals. Sometimes the test is, this team is really hard or really, really good. And then sometimes is you're so close. You know what I mean? And I think the pressure goes up when you're like, hey, we didn't do all this work for nothing, did we? We're so close.
Yeah.
And last night, man, Chet gets blocked at the foul line, then drives on Miles Turner, gets blocked again. Shea traveled, an uncontested travel. He just they looked rattled in a way that we really haven't seen them in this entire playoffs. Denver got it a little bit from him. But last night, I was surprised at how rattled Shea and the Thunder looked.
I mean, this was the big talking point about this team coming into the playoffs, and it really did bear out in this game where you just don't know what you're getting out of the young squad. Like, you don't know what they are going to do when their backs are truly against the wall. Yeah, and they blinked. They really just didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. Like
in that game, they did. Like Game 4 against Denver, they didn't. That's the game where Wiggins and Dort and made all those shots.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that is what I expected them to do against Denver, and they overcame it two of the times, unfortunately for us. But we'll see. I mean, they responded to it when Denver pushed them. They haven't been pushed in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're able to respond to it. But yeah, that's exactly what I expected out of that team this whole playoffs.
Dev, to Vogt's point, though, they have a lot of interchangeable parts. Even Chet has a Hartenstein behind him, The one guy that's not is Shea. And I do agree with Vogt here that part of why they are able to do what they did is they said, we're going to make you exhausted. Shea has never looked tired in his life to me. He looks like a well-conditioned guy.
Right.
He looked exhausted in the fourth.
Dude, he had both hands on these.
Over and over again.
And that was the game plan. Nembhard is picking him up as soon as he touches it from half court, just rattling them. They're not even just sending double teams the entire time. They're just like, we're going to be physical. And that's what they've done to everybody else throughout this, playoff run. And now it's happening to him where he did look super tired. He doesn't want the ball every single time. And they've built their offense around, we need you to do something. We need you to get going. I think that's not only game planning, but it's like, hey, we have everybody that's going to believe. And if you get by us, we're going to hard foul you. I do think that they send messages throughout the entire game. They have other guys who are not known as just straight defenders that are like, we're going to step up. We are connected, but everybody's trying right now. Mathurin is not known as like a just straight defender. He's like, I'll give you some minutes there. Nembhard is that guy. They have Neesmith, who is that guy, but it's everybody all on the same page. Miles Turner, he has been defensively, he's been horrible. Not last night.
No,
his fourth quarter last night,
incredible. Yeah. So really, I think it's just getting on the same page all at once, and there's not much you could do there.
Yeah.
Another thought I had watching this game is, Rick Carlisle after the 2011 title. You could not have a best coach in the league conversation without him on the short list.
Yeah.
He was there for a while. And I think he kind of moved into that tip your cap, everyone respect him. We stopped talking about Rick Carlisle a little bit. And the Mavs hadn't been there. And then when they got there, it was with Kidd. You want to talk about a team becoming greater than the sum of its part, people shocked by a potential champion 2 wins away. You have to tip your hat to Rick Carlisle, who has put himself right back in the conversation of warlocks on the sidelines here. Whether it's motivation, getting 15 guys on the same page to play for you, scheme, just whatever aspect of coaching, which is multifaceted, has allowed this team to play this way for this long. Tip your hat to Rick Carlisle as well, who, again, you should Google what he looked like when he had hair. He looked like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly like him, actually. It was actually pretty weird how similar they looked. But the defensive thing is the other part here, because I think most of the ball don't stop crowd casual NBA fans, defense in the NBA today is a team thing. These individual defenders, they obviously are very important. If you have a collection of them, then it's incredible. But defense is all about your team and how you can execute game plans that get, increasingly complex as things go on. This Pacers team was not supposed to be a great defense. I think they did finish top 10 at the end of the year because they had such a big run, but it was like they snuck in at the very, very end. They're a good group of defensive players. They have some weak spots of guys you wouldn't have guessed to be good. But, man, do they play connected on that end, too. And now they look like a great defensive team at this stage of the finals. And it's the exact same thing that happened to Denver in 2023, where they just these awesome individual defenders, some, KCP, AG. But for the real truth was they just played together and they could execute the system, and their defense became, that finals was a bunch of munders.
Strong.
So to me, I look at it and I just go, this Pacers team has re-emboldened my belief. Every time they win, I feel this way.
I know.
It re-emboldens my belief that this Nuggets team has the ultimate connector in Nikola Jokic. Tyrese Halliburton's really good at this. Really good. One of the best.
Elite.
Jokic's better. Better than anyone, maybe ever, at getting a team. It's still hard, but it should be easier than ever. And it just reaffirms to me, I'm like, you know what? You got a window here with Jokic that extends a lot longer. You don't have to build the perfect team, but you do have to become the perfect team through connection. And that should give us all a little bit of confidence.
Hopefully they'll do it under the banner of the pregnant man, Eric. David
Let's
Adelman.
go. Under the banner of the pregnant man. I haven't seen that flying in a while. It's been some time.
Dude,
the other thing, it's like last night, TJ McConnell was insanely, like he turned that game. Like
100%.
with those 3 steals from out of bounds, just being a hustle guy, like doing the same thing that Alex Caruso did, like just weird individual defensive plays that like kind of catch everybody off guard. And like
Russ
honestly,
was that guy.
Yes, it's like you need a catalyst for this team defense, but just like that. The team and the individual play is like coming together. I couldn't believe it. Like,
yeah, and I don't want to make excuses. One thing I will say is that got the crowd into it, and from that moment on, a lot of role players in OKC really tightened up.
Yes.
And one thing I will say is that Denver lost 1 game at home against Oklahoma City, and it was that GD 36-hour turnover that started at 1:00 p.m. The only game they lost, 87-92. I still think the league rigged it. All right, we got to take a break. On the other side, we'll talk about Russell Westbrook. We haven't talked much about him, but could he be back? And how would you feel if he was?
Just a thought, guys. Just a hypothetical. What if we went out on a summer road trip together?
whoa.
I'm hopeful.
Just a hypothetical.
I mean, that would be cool if it happened.
Just hypothetical, especially for you, the fan, the Toyota chatter, the diehard at home.
I would eat at every Cane's on the way.
What if we kissed underneath some cane sauce?
Slightly related question. Either way, if you order at raisingcanes.com or on the Canes mobile app to satisfy your chicken finger fix in a snap, it's a real treat. It's convenient. It's tasty. It's Canes. At Raising Canes, every chicken finger is hand battered and cooked to order. Every crinkle cut fry is crispy and perfectly salted. Every Texas toast is buttered to perfection, and every Canes sauce is made in restaurant each day, ready to be dipped in. When I mention the cane sauce, Kale loses it. He gets up, he takes a lap, he's obsessed.
I think he just calls it kale sauce.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Just to be clear, it's not kale sauce. If you're hungry yet, get your order today at Cane's and keep the road trip going. Raising Cane's, chicken fingers, one love. And if you're taking a road trip, I've got a real humble suggestion for you. Do it in a Toyota. Not only are they the official vehicle of DNVR, it's Toyota. They've got a fleet, a variety of trucks, off-road vehicles, hybrids, or straight-up zero-emission vehicles. Toyota knows that there's a lot of different types of Coloradans right now. A lot of different folks in this state. They get behind the wheel to do some different things. And whether you're hauling the weight of the world, whether you are looking for a smooth ride in the downtown streets of Denver, or taking a road trip with the fellas, you got to do it in a Toyota. Do yourself a favor right now. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. There's AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. Toyota, fellas, let's go places.
Let's go places. Back here, make sure you throw us a like. There are only 17 likes in the chat. What's going on, people?
Bro,
get these up. Superstar Devs here. Don't throw. It's not for us. It's for Dev.
Do a like for me.
Hang on, Pedro H. We just sold him on the spot. He's about to get some Canes and watch the show. He says it pairs well.
Our guy, clip
It
that.
pairs well.
Hopefully you sold him on giving us a like also.
There's been a little bit of momentum with
Or
Russell
Toyota.
Westbrook lately. You know, we've kind of just assumed he's going to opt out because he had a good year with Denver and assume he can get a bigger deal. But he is at the point of his career where he can kind of dictate what he wants to do. And if he wants to be back for Denver, especially on a vet minimum, you'd opt out. I think the process of this, by the way, would be opting out and then signing a new vet minimum deal that has a higher annual value to it. So even if he opts out, don't think it's over. But the idea of him coming back, Russ was such a roller coaster. I actually want to start with D-Line on this one. The highs were so high. They were some of the best highs of the entire year were Russell Westbrook centric. The lows were tough, including like he does have an army of fans who like will turn on you in an instant and really dictate the conversation. But the highs are high, the lows are low. Russell Westbrook, though, do you want him back next year?
Yes, I do.
Easy one.
I do. I said this earlier. You have to take into consider. This is one of these times where you do have to take into consideration the contract that the player is on. Like getting that level of production for that amount of money allows you to build. You know, and obviously, then you have to do a lot of other smart team construction on top of that. But like the flexibility that provides, it's just you can't have Russ and rely on him as much as the Nuggets did last year.
Yeah.
If you have him just sort of in spot areas. You know, we watch this over and over and over where we would be like, bro, he's tired. Like he's starting to make there was just a moment when he went from like, oh man, this is impressive to, oh my God, get this guy off the court. And if you can thread that needle and figure that out, he's an unbelievable positive for what you're paying him. Like, he irritated me very much in various times in the season, but yet, like, I would absolutely think the Nuggets have to bring him back.
For me, it's a fuck yes.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Like, you really should. Us saying that he should go to another team is really more so of like a respect thing, because he played much better than his contract. He really can dictate where he goes. But when you go through the production and what he provided for the Nuggets, you're not getting that. You know, you just aren't. It doesn't matter who else you go out there and get. You're not getting what Russell Westbrook brought to you. And also, what D-Line is talking about, I feel like that was a Michael Malone problem.
Yeah.
We saw that with, Reggie Jackson. We saw that, with Jeff Green. We saw that with the older guys that Michael Malone was kind of stuck on, where he's like, I'm going to play the vet. I'm going to play the older guy. We didn't see that with David Adelman. He wrote the hot hand. He wrote the guy that was like, had the momentum. And he will take it. He'll take him out if he's doing too much, which I feel like that's a Russell Westbrook decision of, do I want to play a bunch of minutes, or do I want to be able to, catch lightning in a bottle, because Russell Westbrook was really good in stints, and then he overplayed himself. And that's anybody at that age. That's anybody that, is older in the league and they're playing too many minutes. And you wouldn't have to do that, with this team next year, especially if other guys stepped up. I think that was another problem with Russell Westbrook, is the Julian Strathers and the Jalen Pickett's and Peyton Watson, the other guys around him didn't bring out the best out of him. So, like, he's overplaying now. He's with the starters because he couldn't play with that bench unit. And I think that he didn't know how to be Russ in that, because sometimes you need to be a scorer. Sometimes you need to be a passer. So I do think that it wasn't all on Russell Westbrook. But the production there, I would take that every day of the week. I really would.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about looking for guys who have to check multiple boxes and doing it with contracts that aren't very lucrative or exceptions that aren't very enticing. So would it be better if Russ didn't create spacing issues? Yes.
I mean, yes, then he's still on like a $20 million a year contract.
So, yeah, I would take him. They need another ball handler again, as they did last year. It's a team that, especially with Russ coming back, you still need more shooting somehow, some way. But there's a risk of, like, let's just say, the choice was ours, and you said, all right, Russ, go enjoy free agency. What are the chances with a vet min you get a point guard who comes back and does more and checks all of those boxes? Not great. So, yeah, I would take Russ back.
Russ is a creator, he's not, a lot of these guys can finish plays or whatever. Russ is a guy that can make something happen. Yep. I'm actually kind of surprised the four of us are all on team yes here. Again, assuming it's a veteran minimum. If you have to like raise it up now and you're using your MLE on him, it gets a little dicier now because that's you're out of assets here. But here's what I would say about Russ. And Dev, you hit on something that some of what made Russ positive and negative this year, I think, was Malone. And here's the thing. Russ is a former MVP, and what he does at a high level, he still does better than most people in the NBA. Getting into the paint, passing on the move, especially this like close proximity passes, this tight window passes that he got to Yoke. So the stuff he does is great. But I think that Malone was between a rock and a hard place this year with Russell Westbrook, and he made the bad call of sort of ceding too much to Russ. And that's why I think Adelman's first game in, when he benched, who was it that he benched Russ, right? He didn't close with Russ. And then the second game he did, it was I think it came by him honestly. He wasn't thinking strategically.
Think around, but yes. Yeah.
But I think it was also an important message to send of like, hey, I'm just going to play who we are, and everyone has to deal with it. He didn't have to do that in the regular season. There was a little dust up after Game 3 of the playoffs against the Houston Rockets, and I think that is Russ. Russ is not going to accept diminished roles. But sometimes it's just like, hey, a coach has to have the backbone to tell him, I don't care if you like it or not. This is who we are. Mm-hmm. And to me, if Russ can handle that and if Adelman can handle that, I actually think there's no question you need Russ on this roster, because some nights you will need him 35 minutes a night.
Absolutely. Watching these finals right now, like, you see that with these other players. Like, Caruso plays a lot sometimes, and sometimes he does not play. And you're like, how does that work? He's so productive when he's out there. Same thing with McConnell. Same thing with Mathurin, who was at the beginning of the year playing a bunch. Like, he's a scorer. I think that he was like their third leading scorer, like throughout and then they benched him for a long time. And that's a coach being honest with you. And then you go and have a moment in the playoffs where Mathurin has like 27 points in 22 minutes. Like, that's a coach that just says like, hey, some nights you're going to have it and some nights you will. And then a player having to decide if that's who he is. And I feel like Russell Westbrook can be that, because Russell Westbrook could have gone to another league. He could go to another team. He can make that choice. It's just about if that's who Russell Westbrook is. And I really do. It sucks. I wish he didn't have to play as much as he did, and he wasn't as relied on as he was last year. Because that's when the problem became. If Russell Westbrook is the guy that you're blaming games on, you're in a bad problem, like in a bad situation. At no point does the Pacers say TJ McConnell is why they lost the game. You shouldn't have to be that, because you have these other really good players, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon.
But they needed Russ to be something more.
They needed him to be so much that you started blaming games on a guy that is on that type of contract.
Right.
I think that that's where the problem lies.
I just want to interrupt real quick to say that while you were talking, D-Line was looking at photos of the Pope. I have no idea why or what was going on.
He's wearing a Sox hat.
He's wearing a Red Sox hat.
No.
I look
White
over
Sox.
White Sox
White Sox hat. Sorry,
Oh,
White
I
Sox
know.
hat.
I'm involved in all the networks. I'm thinking about a T-shirt.
Yeah, okay, there you go. All
It
right.
actually does check out.
That does check out.
It's hilarious. Da Pope.
Russ would be such an interesting one. You guys know I love Pickett. I think Pickett is a steady force
Would
for
you say
them.
you love him?
Steady. I think he is a steady force for the Nuggets. I would worry about him in the playoffs. Although, again, I mean, this year in particular, where he just didn't have that much ramp up time, Russ's highs are so much higher.
Yeah.
There's just no question about it. The lows are lower, but the highs are higher. And there is a world where they split the juicy middle, and you get the best. You get an even better version. In fact, maybe that's my question to you. Do you think it's possible? It was his first year here, just getting to know all the guys, going through ups and downs. Is it possible next year is significantly less bumpy?
Here's the thing. Here's the one thing, though, that is kind of rattling around in my head is that we did hear about some issues in the locker room involving
I brought
Russ.
that up in my little part of it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that is something to consider. Like,
Russ is who he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Russ is going to be who he is, whether he is in a larger role or a diminished role. Like, he's not going to have a diminished role as far as his personality is concerned, and his the weight that he brings, and the gravity that he brings, the fan base that he brings, the attention that he brings. So it is actually something to consider. I mean, as far as just on-court production, like, I don't think you can really even argue whether or not it was worth it. Like, you can hopefully cut back a lot on as much as he's playing, and then the hope is that it doesn't then flare up in other places, that it doesn't make him bother, that it doesn't cause some kind of issue.
And if they survived it when it happened at that point in last season,
That's true.
don't you feel like this locker room can just handle it?
Maybe, but
By the way, just to be clear, I don't just mean Russ's presence.
Well, first of all, a coach did get fired, so it's not like it didn't go well.
No,
And
no,
now you
I'm
have
talking about,
I know.
but that conflict was on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs. And I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I see. Oh, I see.
And they
that
walked away from
specific
it
one.
saying, we don't have any punks in this locker room. So that's all. That's all.
Right.
I meant.
I will say that with David Adelman, I would guess if Russ was on the team, that would be among his biggest challenges, because it's easy for us to sit up here and say, play the right guy, blah, blah, this or that. He needs to play a lot some nights and less so other nights. But I do think Adelman, that would be a challenge. Like, if you had to rank his challenges next year, if Westbrook's he might be in the top 2 or 3 of the list. Toughest challenges.
It's a good point. And he's not a 10-year championship winning head coach, right? He's not. So he does have the respect of that locker room. That's not the same as saying he has the cachet as Poppers or whatever, Dev.
Yeah, to play like devil's advocate on, one side.
Devil's advocate. Yeah.
The thing with Russell Westbrook is when we bring him up or when we do talk about him, we always have to mention the contract every single time.
Yep.
So, like, if you take the contract out, do you want him on the team?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. Is when because I really do think that's the caveat. Every single time that he's brought up is like he played so much above the contract.
Right.
But like, is he a good fit? Is he good for the team and things like that? And then my second point is when Russell Westbrook got brought over to the Nuggets, it was like Jokic that was like the one that like kind of was an advocate for him. down the home stretch, we did see like an Aaron Gordon step up and, defend them. We saw Jamal, that had his moment. Jokic was not one of those guys that said something out loud about him. Or maybe I missed it, but I just don't feel like it was the same cachet that when it first started that was there. So I'm like, do they want him, for another year? And I know it's ultimately up to Russell Westbrook, but that is something to consider. Right?
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know in the comments. I'm curious what people think. Do you want Russ back? We all feel positive, we would answer yes, but with some caveats of, hey, it carries an enormous amount of risk. But I think at the end of the day, man, he was one of the 6 best Nuggets last year. So you want him back. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, I have some more scenarios. We're going to play a little scale of 1 to 10 game on the other side. For example, how would you feel if Murray came in the best shape of his life?
1, hate it.
Do that on the other side.
You imagine being on a Volo team with Russell Westbrook.
No, dude.
You just show up for beer in hand kickball. He's not drinking.
Just screaming.
Water in
I
his
would say
hand.
do not join a Volo dodgeball team against
man.
Russell Westbrook.
Hey, man, this is a pretty chill event here, actually.
Yeah, we're
You
casuals.
You stop screaming in my girlfriend's face?
Yeah, I think that kickball just broke her nose. Anyway, Volo is Denver's most popular provider of adult social sports leagues, and as D-Line likes to point out, aptly so, when they say adult, they just mean that literally.
Right,
It's just
for
it's not a designate.
Right.
It's just literally
Just not kids.
Not kids.
That's
It's,
it.
You can play sports together. Pickup games and events. Sports offered include soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, basketball, cornhole, and many others. And there's different levels, right? Like I just mentioned beer and in-hand kickball. There's also more serious kickball. You can find the right sort of level of competition you're looking for. You can play with a set of friends. You can make a team. We did that together at DNVR on a few occasions. You can also join as a free agent. And it's a great way to meet new people in the city, see new areas of the city. You'll get assigned to a team. You go out and you do have to be that guy. You got to be like, hey guys, I'm a free agent. Can I be your friend? But as it turns out, a lot of friendly people here in Denver. We'll be glad to have you. You can play in Lodo, Rhino, Highlands, City Park, Cherry Creek, South Broadway, and more. Like I said, players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Make sure you use code DNVR10 for $10 off any Denver Volo league.
I can't wait for this pet peeves draft.
And how about First Bank, which is making
Sitting over
banking.
here just getting mad reading my big board. Ugh.
I've been playing with this for 40 minutes. I'm just itching to get my notebook.
One
open.
comes to you, you're like, okay, hold on.
I'm the 4 most annoyed people on earth get to vent.
Yeah, we're gonna all sound really likable for sure. Whether
We hate people in the comments.
my biggest pet peeve, children. Okay, here we go. Whether on the road, at home, or somewhere in between, First Bank makes banking easy, convenient, and secure. Thank goodness, because man, I find life to be hard, inconvenient, and I'm a very insecure person. Thankfully, my bank is different. Their mobile banking app allows you to check balances, pay friends, and manage your money anytime, anywhere. It's a good way to keep friends too. You know what I mean? Pay your debts. They pay your debt. They don't like when you don't do that. You can do that
And plus,
anywhere.
try to pay your friend with a wet wad of paper.
Yeah.
What is this, cash? What am I supposed to even do with this?
Also, why is your cash always wet, man? But that's a different conversation. Here's the best part. Open a new First Bank checking account today. You could earn $300. That's tight. First Bank is all about helping you stay on track. Their tools make it simple to help you stay in control of your finances without the hassle. So if you are ready for better banking and a chance to earn a little extra, head to efirstbank.com/bonus. That's efirstbank.com/bonus to open your account. Bank how you want, when you want with First Bank. Certain restrictions and requirements apply. Member FDIC.
Sorry, just thinking about some of these pet peeves. Sorry.
You're hosting the show, Adam. Are you ready?
I just came up with a new one. Hold on.
Sorry. Guys, let's play a new game. Scale of 1 to 10. Oh, look at this. Just one. There it is.
Tough, man.
Well, great work, Kel. Yeah, Vogt down there. Sad Vogt. Sad boy Vogt. Number 1. Absolutely distraught.
It's a Vogt summer.
Adam, number 10. Ecstatic. So, and then anything but in between here. So I have a couple things. And you guys tell me, where would you fall? Jamal Murray comes into camp out of shape.
Whoa.
Jamal Murray comes into camp out of shape. How angry is this one going to make you, Dev?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be so mad because we've already seen this so many times.
Yeah.
It's the same movie, and that means that you don't care. Right. I will be distraught.
Number one?
I'll be a 1. I'll be a 2. Because it could happen.
So
this is like stubbornness of like,
yeah,
I'm going to just do it again. This is who I am. But then there's also like, no, we just can't have you have that. So I'll be a 2 right here. I'll be a 2.
Oh man, it's the chief water carrier for Jamal Murray. Like, I don't know if I can carry that much water. That's a little too much water for
your water might break.
Yeah, dude, my water will break. Me and Adelman. I mean, that would be terrible. Like, that's indefensible.
Is it a 1? Is it just
yes.
like you're like fully a Jamal hater if he comes in? He's a little puffy.
I'm not a Jamal hater. Listen, like
you can't. You have too much love in your heart.
It's not that I love him. It's just he's such a good player. Like I just can't ignore that he's such a good player. But like that is just straight up disrespectful. That would be disrespectful.
Conversely, though, he shows up in the best shape of his life. How much of a boost is this?
Yeah, that's gonna work. 10.
Yeah,
that's a 10. That's a 10.
See, for me, this one is like a 7.
No.
And Jamal shows up in the best shape of his life?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 10 for me.
There's a bit of expectation here, though. There's a little bit of like...
Well, he's supposed to.
Yeah.
And he's not doing what he's supposed to. So if he starts doing what he's supposed to...
Yeah, man.
See, part of the 10 is you mentioned expectation, and I am not expecting it to happen.
Is this a 10, Dev? I feel like we're being a little generous here.
This is about as 10 as it gets.
Yeah, dude. This is like a...
Because it's probably something we've never seen.
Doing his job. What if he does his job?
That's the point.
That's not his job. Like this is a hot air balloon. Like some people think that it's real, but it might not happen. It really might not be a real thing. If he were to come in the best shape of his life, that is not his job requirement. It's not.
I can't believe this is a 10-1 scenario.
What would the record be at the All-Star break?
I think really good. I think
very,
really good.
very good. Like I think that would be a scare to and it also would put everybody on the same page of like this is our year. I think that would be big. I think it's a 10.
You gotta keep it moving. Here's a weird one for you, or a curveball. D-line, 1 to 10. The Nuggets signed Gary Harris to a veteran minimum.
That's a excited as a 1 or not excited as a 1.
You would be distraught.
No, I'm just like a 5. I mean, it's like
just a neutral.
5.
You wouldn't even.
I mean, it's like
no nostalgia, no Gary Harris nostalgia.
Well, nostalgia's great, but like not on your basketball team.
All right,
unless you're just collecting basketball cards.
Are you at a neutral on this one too?
On Gary Harris, it kind of has lost its shine.
It might be like a 3. He might actually be like, I don't know, there's no novelty to this at all.
Having said that, once we start talking about get Gary one. You know, I'll put it to 4.
No, this is the thing is everybody kind of expires. We loved Gary Harris for many years.
Dueling Mr. Nuggets.
Let me go to this one, Dev. Dev. What if Jokic plays in Eurobasket this summer? What's that gonna do for you?
See, I don't want to piss off Serbia.
That's why I gave it to you. You're the only Serbian.
That's pretty try. I would be kind of sad. Like I really would. We'll put it like a 4.
All right, so you'd be slightly more sad.
I want him to want to play. Like, that's a big thing. But also, I think that rest is like so important. I feel like that's why Jason Tatum's in the spot that he's in right now. Granted, he didn't play a lot, but just that many games a year. And yeah, Jokic gets time off because they didn't win a championship like a Jason Tatum did. But like he needs a break, and it's been exciting to not have any Jokic news right now. Like he's just in the lab somewhere.
The chat is coming after you.
I know.
It's pretty split. Serbians are not happy.
Yeah.
Americans agree with that.
I would get that though. I would say a 4. If it happened, I would root for them for sure.
Of course.
D-Line, you're going to Serbia here shortly, so
I want him to play in Europe.
Me too.
I think it'd be like a 7 because I agree. You have to always keep the top prize in mind, which is us doing a show about this team every single day.
Yeah, that is the top prize.
I don't necessarily want to make that any more painful than it is. Like when they don't have a GM or anything, but. I want him to play, man. Like he's the best player in the world. He's a gift to us, but he's a gift to the world itself. Like I want his expression of love to be given to as many people as possible. And I love watching Jokic play basketball. I don't want to wait till next year.
This is why I'm a 10. I want it to happen. I don't this thing. We were joking about this the other day, where people are like, "I hope Jamal only plays 60 games next year." And I'm like, "You should hope he plays 82 and is healthy."
For sure.
And rested. Like the idea of hoping for, I don't want him to play because he could get hurt. Like just hope that he plays and doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, man. Like, listen, like, what are we doing here?
I want Jokic to have. I mean, I've always said this. Like in the early days, in particular. I mean, some of the Serbs have turned on us lately.
Yeah.
You know, they're like trying to trade Jokic in the comments of every show,
free
no matter
Jokic
what
from
happens.
us.
But that's not everybody. But I will say, the early days, you know, it was cool riding along, like them riding with us to this whole thing and really connecting to Denver. So to me, I would love for us to get one with Serbia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we get to celebrate your guys's.
The best thing about Jokic, so like right now, SGA is like the best player in the world because he won an MVP. Everybody keeps on going back to the point of Jokic took USA to like the brink of elimination because he played last year. If he didn't play there, I don't think that people would be saying that. They would just be trying to find the next best thing. Like it would be Giannis and SGA. But the fact that he played and he almost beat USA is the reason that he's labeled the best player in the world still.
Also, he played in this. I think it was good for him playing in the Olympics last year. He had his best year ever.
Exactly.
After playing in this, like, I actually think there's something positive for Jokic getting a different basketball experience.
Yeah, that's a different one. And I know it's people say he gets to play good basketball. I mean, he's won a title in Denver. He's enjoyed it here as well.
Denver has played good basketball,
Yeah.
including this playoff.
But yeah, it's not about that. It's different, and also the experience. Not to speak for him, it is obviously in very literal ways hits closer to home for him, right?
Yeah.
And it's a different thing to do with your summer, be around different people. Also, I want him to win something with Serbia so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm down to I'll say a 5 or 6.
How about this one? I'll start with you, Vogt.
Okay.
How would you feel if Deron Holmes sucks at Summer League? Just a disaster Summer League. Not injured,
So
but
one
just not good.
again, to be clear, one is my face. I'm very sad.
You're
in this case.
the one.
I'm at like a 5. I'm not happy in any sense for him,
Right.
but it's neutral in that I have come to learn one could be very good or terrible at Summer League,
Yeah.
and I have learned nothing about you.
So it doesn't really matter. What do
He
you
could
think,
do that and
D-Line?
still be good.
I'm in it too, man. I'm distraught. I really am. Like, I mean, then we're talking about him being Nagy. Like this is like when it
you're
all
right.
started to unravel. Whether or not it then turns into, it doesn't matter. But like we're gonna have to, like our diaper is very, very sullied right now.
Yeah.
Like, and if Deron Holmes is our draft pick this year. It's the only way to look at it. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have a draft pick. We are drafting Deron Holmes. If he comes in and like that's our shining ray of light for not only this season but for the future, and he looks terrible,
Just sucks, yeah.
and it's something we've been like kind of sitting on, waiting for, being like, well, you know, don't forget about Deron Holmes, and then it just you get absolutely nothing out of it. I'll be bummed, man.
At Summer League.
I know, but
Conversely,
when it
though,
happens, though,
Dev, how would you feel if Deron Holmes has a great Summer League? Just a great one.
I'll feel damn good. I'll be at like a 8, 7.
Wow.
The thing is, I've seen Hunter Tyson look like
It's correct.
Larry Bird.
He
at
was
Summer
first team
League.
all
First team
Summer
all
League.
Summer League.
First team, and he was the guy.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of that.
Never.
we were
throughout-
excited when it happened.
We were excited.
So happy when it happened.
very
Hey, we told him to shut it down. Shut it down.
We've seen enough. Get him off
This
the
is our
court.
guy. But
last
also,
game he
I think
played.
it's just like how much he's overcome, and also it was the place of where it happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so I think that it would be good for him mentally, and then also the team to just like say, shut it down. He's playing well, and
it
also
down.
you have a draft pick, and this is your year's draft pick, like Eric said. I think would be a good thing.
D-Line, I'll let you start on this one. How would you feel if the Thunder win the finals?
Are you asking me at the beginning of the playoffs or right now?
Right
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 now.
now.
I have in full resignation mode. I've
They're
accept-
down 1-2.
Yeah.
I still would bet a lot lot of money that they're
Full
gonna win it.
resignation mode. It's
Yes.
2-1.
I think I still no. I resigned. I resigned before the start. This season,
Sure.
series started.
Sure.
I still think they're going to win. I still absolutely think they're going to win. So I mean, I'm like I don't care. I'm like pretending I don't care. I'm
Okay.
like I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But inside I'm crying. But no one can see that. So
Yeah.
I don't care. Who cares?
Dev,
They're the
Stupid.
favorites. They're supposed to win. Like they're.
you don't care, huh?
I don't care.
If we're not happy, I don't care who is.
They're one of the best defenses of ever.
Yeah.
So like, if it happened, it happened. I wouldn't really be that distraught or anything like that.
What about the Pacers win? If I ask you the Pacers win,
I'm going to say 6 out of 10 on the happy scale for
that's
me.
only slightly happy.
It's only slightly happy because
Who cares?
the Pacers are still not the Nuggets. you know?
Exactly. Who
Of
cares?
course
dude?
they're not.
I know. I'm trying to be, but I
Although they kind of are.
but
It does.
not.
It does sort of
with one
feel like
difference.
again the era of parody, or as I once called it, the arity of
Parody.
parody era.
Parody.
The Pacers winning would honestly signal to every team and every fan base in a way it's never happened before, not even Denver. We can do this. We can do this. Now, to some extent, that's almost backhanded to Indiana, who's earned this, but that's the point. That this is doable. Also, as much as it would kill me because I want Denver to be the team that challenged OKC the most, I'm so bitter about losing to the Thunder.
So bitter.
I'm so bitter.
Dude.
It really made me angry.
Yeah.
And I still am.
Sports rule. They're so dumb.
Yeah.
For me, if the Pacers win, I'd be like an 8. And it's not because of necessarily I like Indiana or the Pacers. Or I even hate OKC. I just have a style of basketball and a belief in basketball that I love. And it is that this offensive teamwork is the best thing about basketball. And the Pacers represent that, honestly, as well as the Nuggets did in 2023, as the Spurs did in 2014, as the Warriors did in 2015. Those are my favorite types of teams to win because that's what I want basketball to be. I want every team aiming at that target. And so if the Pacers did it, to me, it would be very inspiring. Plus, you know what the Pacers did last year? Pre-camp meeting.
Oh.
And I hope that would be like, the Nuggets would be like, you know what? We got to get on their level here. Last one I have for you guys, and then we'll do our snake draft. D-Line, I'll start with you again here. If Jokic is ranked number 2 in Ringer's top 100 list to start the year next year,
Behind.
SGA.
probably, I don't know. It does. I don't know.
This is an important question.
Yeah, I actually
Behind
agree.
who?
Behind
Really?
Yes.
It would be
Let's see
Shea because I think
Let's see
he's
Shea.
number
Behind
2.
Shea, I am livid. Whatever that is. I'm a 1 or a 10, whichever it
One.
is.
One.
Dude, I'm a 1. I'm like, shut the F up. You have to be kidding me. But that didn't happen. But I'm pre-mad. You see how mad I am?
You are
brought
pre-mad.
that
No,
up?
but it could happen to start the next year. Sometimes that's what happens.
I'm already mad.
Dev?
I'll be at like a 3. I'll be pretty mad and distraught, but also I think that it will be a mark for Jokic to be pissed off about because he's not the second best player in the world, and everybody knows that. Ringer knows that,
Bro.
But like you would have to give the respect because if SGA is number 1, that means that he won the MVP and the championship, so he has an argument. But also it will be like one of those things where Jokic like, I remember that, and I'm gonna prove you guys wrong.
It's fine. He doesn't need any more chips. But also, like, remember the whole thing? Like, well, we know Jokic is the best player in the world. We're not talking about that.
I know, but
Who's
that's what
the
happened.
MVP?
They've already set the stage for it, though, man. And that's what I'm saying.
You gotta hold it. You gotta. There's always a
disgusting.
challenger, brother.
So disgusting.
That was unlocking the door. That was like the Perkins of the world, just unlocking the door so they can open it next time.
And listen, man, if the Mavericks had won last year, which as we really learned was not that actually close, if they had, I mean, that Luka conversation would have been in full force. So I feel like we dodged that bullet. Can Indiana save us again?
Save us again, Indiana. All right. We always try to have a little bit of fun at the end of these Thursdays. We try to with a little snake draft. Today it's biggest pet peeves. Kale did me a solid. Almost pick one.
Wow.
Pretty close.
Wow.
All right. We got 4 people on the board. Pet
know-
peeves. You can go almost anywhere with these.
Just if you want to understand how creative Kale is, it's just the order we're sitting in.
You don't have to take
I
this.
would love to say, but I made this during the show, and that's exactly
It's incredible.
Defend himself.
no defense.
Vote. You get to start us off with
All right,
the
with the
number
first pick
1
in the
pick.
Pet Peeves draft.
Man,
I
I
am
didn't.
going-
I'll be honest. I didn't want the top picks.
I
on
am
this
going
one.
to say media on the phone without headphones.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I had it on my board. Yeah, so this is not necessarily talking on the phone. It's more like you're listening
Actually
to Spotify.
distinct. Yeah, this is distinct. So music,
Just a-
TV show.
Yeah.
Parents taking your kids on the plane. That's cool. Give them headphones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
well,
if-
it'd be a little. There's a grace period. Sometimes a kid doesn't pull it out. and then
Totally.
grace
Unless
period.
you're on a plane. So yes.
Even on a plane, sometimes kids unplug it and you're let me
This
fix
is,
it.
this is a conflict between a parent and a non-parent.
Yeah. I'm saying there's a grace period where you have to be like, hey, I didn't catch it right
There
away,
we
but I
go.
do agree with you.
media on the phone
This is
with no
his pet,
headphones.
dude.
Thank you, Kale.
Yeah, pet peeve. It's a really good one.
Kale, can you actually just whatever? I'll talk to you after the show.
I'm gonna go with this is a big pet peeve of mine. People who are rude to customer service people.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
That's a
Rude
huge
people.
pet peeve. Like, just not rude to people, but I'm saying like you have a waiter, and you know some people are like real, just right off the bat. You know, and you're in a group, and someone's just being a dick, or just any customer service
course.
where they think like, oh, this is my worker, I can just berate him. That to me, that one gets on my nerves. Then you just look at them like, Are you all right?
I can't decide if I'm going to get argued down for this, but this feels like the 1-1 to me. Traffic.
That's a pet peeve?
Yes.
I feel like, all right,
See,
judges.
Yeah, I don't think this is a pet
Is this
peeve.
a general annoyance?
That's a thing
or is
we
this
don't
a pet
like.
peeve?
Yeah, it's just an annoyance, like a thing that bothers you, like deeply. Like traffic bothers me deeply.
Traffic is not a pet peeve.
Yeah, like I
Why
can't say
not?
when it's too hot. That's not a pet peeve.
Why not?
It's
that's
too hot.
Sometimes it doesn't always bother everybody.
It's just a bona fide inconvenience, I think.
Well, this is right. I knew I was going to get shouted at. But
Yeah.
these are like too oddly specific, your guys's.
Yeah,
All right.
those are what pet peeves are.
I mean, but when I
like
looked,
bad drivers or something would be somebody cutting me off.
I mean,
Just general traffic is enormous.
Fine. Traffic jam. How about that?
Oh, that's a
Doesn't
good one.
change anything.
The people that have to
It's the same thing.
stare every single time, so
That's a pet peeve.
They're slowing
What
it down
Dev
for
said is a pet
everyone
peeve.
else.
What Dev says is a pet peeve.
That is a pet peeve.
That's a good one. Though.
What do
They're
they call
causing
that?
the traffic.
Rubbernecking, is that what they call it?
Rubbernecking? Is that what you want to do?
Sure. Put rubber.
Yeah, put rubber neck.
I love how indignant he is on this one too. Like,
Because I looked up pet peeves. That was on everybody's list.
Chad, is this fair?
you guys help us berate him. Pet peeve. Nobody seems to understand. All right, nobody's arguing. All right, traffic. Put traffic down, Kale. Traffic, not a pet peeve, but we'll do it. Dev?
I think one of mine is people that record every single thing in their life.
Oh my god!
Like that just have to like
Record everything.
Snapchat or like they're at a concert or at
You're right.
a game and they're just like not enjoying what's going
That's a
on. 'cause
great
they have
one.
to show it to everyone else. It bothers me.
Especially when it's something mundane and they're like, hey, get in here real quick. Going into Chili's.
Oh,
Like,
man.
Yeah,
what?
But let's do that again. Because
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, do it again. Hold on.
I'm not
Recording
doing
at the-
that.
recording at the
It's not-
gym.
Out with Eric. Here we
I'm not doing it.
Stuck in traffic.
All right, you get another pick. Now, that's a great one, man. Very creative and actually a pet peeve.
Wow.
Another one for me is like those people that reach out to you
What do you mean? Those
only
people?
when they need something.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm
Bro,
like,
how you been, man? How's things?
Oh, they
Here's
try to
the-
give you a
here's the-
conversation.
yeah.
They try to give you a conversation that they don't care about. Like they ask you about somebody that's no longer there. Like, how's your grandma?
You're
She
like-
died years ago. What are we even talking about right now? But like, they always reach out to you only when they need something. That
Yeah,
bothers
you
me.
still got that pickup truck, man? Because I need someone to help me move this dresser.
Here's another one I feel like is going to be very popular.
Sadness.
Not popular. People who stand up the second the plane lands.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Stand up the second the plane
Yeah.
lands and just wedge into the aisle. Where are you going?
Nowhere.
What are you doing?
Nowhere. You're just standing. You could even parlay this with the people who get in line for the flight like 30 minutes
Oh
early.
my God.
You're
When
not
you have an assigned
they're
seat.
like,
You
yeah,
have a
are you
seat.
boarding? Are you boarding group 5? Sit down, man.
Sit down,
You're
man.
blocking the entrance. The worst is if you stand in line behind a group of people who aren't in line but have formed the line.
Oh my God.
And then you realize too late, and you're like, now I'm in boarding group 5.
Unbelievable.
That's a really good one. I like that one. People are always late. The always late person.
Oh my god!
Dev, don't listen to this. Don't listen to
No
this.
wonder this was such an uphill climb building a relationship with you, buddy.
I wasn't even thinking
You didn't do it so
Oh, y'all think it's me?
I mean, the people in every aspect of life. You're like, oh, we're meeting for dinner at 6 o'clock, and then 6:20, and you're like, all
I'm
right,
responsible.
not just late to the show.
All right, I get
People
2
always
years.
late.
Yo, people that are late to the podcast.
I should have made my list all subtle gems.
Kale, loud chewing of gum.
Yeah. Ooh, just gum.
Loud chewing of gum. Loud chewing.
Loud chewing, yeah.
Loud chewing. Actually, loud chewing of gum. Let's get more specific. I draft from my heart.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
I think that's a good one. I don't really notice that one though, like outside of movies.
Speaking of which, talking in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Talking in a movie theater.
That's a good one. People not paying attention to movies is honestly one of my things that gets me. Like if you're
Me
at
too.
home and watching a movie, okay, whatever, playing on a phone or whatever. But if it's like a movie, you know, or especially if this is what's personal, a movie that like means a lot, and you're like, hey, I want you to watch this movie with me, and it's just the whole time you're like, no, I'm watching. I'm like, you know what? We don't have to watch. Badly behaved pets. That one gets on my nerves. If somebody has a pet and it just has no, it's like
Yep.
I'm always like, guys, you didn't do your job. Your job was to get the dog or whatever to have basic understanding
So
of
your
rules.
pet peeve is pets.
Bad pet behavior. I don't like bad pet discipline.
Okay.
By the way, if Eric took traffic, am I allowed to take global warming? Is that a pet peeve?
Oh my God! I knew I was going to get some sly comebacks off that. That one stings. Right, can I put that down? That the stinger I just received. My pet peeve is people's meeting personality.
Oh, this is such a good
That's
one.
a great one, dude.
So you could just say
This is
like,
actually the funniest.
talking just to talk in a meeting.
Oh, that's so good.
Nothing makes me crazier. Shut the fuck up.
Dude, can we tell this a weird story? We don't have to use names. Do you remember when we were doing the watch parties with the Nuggets and we had to go to all those corporate meetings? And we had there were some guys there we knew that were just kind of like frat, like 22-year-old right out of college doing stuff. Like, and then you'd get in these meetings and they'd be like, all right, everybody, I just want to make sure everyone's on board. And I would be like, who is this guy?
Who was the guy I agreed
I'm like, we're
to do
planning
a meeting
a watch party. We don't have to like sit here and act like we're, like, hey, we want it to be fun.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing, yeah. And you're like, oh my God, I'm talking to a fake person. All right, it's a good one. I like that one.
Thanks, bro.
Totally made up for traffic.
This one came
Traffic,
up.
by the way, is going to win me this draft. Just FYI.
This one came up right after Adam talked about like the badly behaved animals. Mine's is badly behaved children.
Oh,
Like the
What's
bad
the
kids.
That's a good- you're
Fuck
right.
them kids,
The
dude.
crier.
The meme.
The parents
meme.
always have the excuse. He's tired.
yeah.
He's not that damn tired. He's
Like-
bad.
Like,
Sit him down.
you're like, it's 11
Pop his
a.m.
hand.
This is so
Tell
funny.
him no.
This feels a little pointy.
Threaten them. Threaten them. I'm not saying whoop your kids all the time, but like
Whoop that trick.
at least let them know that something has to happen if you don't stop right now.
This is a good one. I like that.
Bothers
Dev.
me.
Maybe
It
I should have
bothers me.
taken kids over pets, but they're both the same.
I'm back to back, right?
Yeah.
The person who reaches out to you or talks to you that has nothing but bad news.
Oh,
Like nothing,
Naggers.
nothing good happens to you. Ever.
Wait, what?
that was my South Park joke. Naggers.
Yeah, naggers. You like to buy them out. But yeah,
Like selling.
I really don't like when there's the
Yeah.
person who doesn't have good news ever.
Yeah.
That one gets me.
Just like, man, I have another one
a
that's
really good
adjacent
one.
to that one, but that is a really good one.
I
Yeah.
have one that drives me crazy. I bring up all the time. It comes up on the show all the time. Speaking in cliches. Oh, that's something that's on my bingo card
You don't
this
like
year.
speaking in cliches? Do you
When
hate
there's something-
Jokic?
There's something that when you come, you're like, this is how we all refer to this now. The vaunted defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
True, nothing is vaunted.
I didn't have this on my bingo card. Come up with your own fucking words. Like, you don't have to be pre-programmed. You can actually say your own thing.
You
Use
know
your
how
own
I know
words.
this is a real pick?
Because he's
It
furious
makes me
right now.
crazy. To me, I just hate when people are not creative and people are just like automaton robots.
I didn't
programmed.
have this one on my bingo card, to be honest with you.
I did. That's a good one, dude.
Yeah. I will use
I just got your joke.
as similar to this one. Well, maybe it's not that similar. I don't like when people use slang in formal settings.
Yeah.
This is almost the opposite one. When
Yes.
someone's trying to give a serious
Hey,
presentation.
man.
Yeah.
Just trying to break it down for you guys.
Yeah, it could come off really corny or like over cursing or something when you're
Yeah.
having a serious moment.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I didn't need that.
You're like when the teacher turns the chair backwards and sits on
Yeah,
it to talk
yeah,
to,
like,
to
hey,
rap with
guys.
the class.
I know what it's like to chill with your homies. You're like, all right.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the nature of my first pick. I'm going to take speakerphone or FaceTime in public.
Yeah, there you go. That's kind of the same thing. You're doubling up there,
Can
but they
you
are
give me-
different.
Can I take that distinction? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, I just think you might cancel your own votes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
but
Basically, if you see Vogt in public, be silent. Don't make a noise of any kind.
Well, you watch stuff on your phone. Just throw some headphones
No,
on.
I know.
Yeah, that's the world I want to live in, by the way. Okay. And for my, no draft is designed to make your podcast personality seem less likable. Okay. For my final one, I will take turning without a blinker.
Get lost,
It's
you losers.
so easy.
doesn't bother me as
It's
much.
what it's for. Just use the blinker, man. Just use the blinker.
Yeah,
That's what I got for you.
I like it. Last one I'm going to go to. I think this one counts, although we kind of use it. Just pessimism.
Yeah.
The people that
No
always,
people.
yeah, the people that are
No
always
people. The
like,
first answer is no.
no, and also it's not going to work, and blah, it's a problem, and this, and that, and you're just always like, I don't even know why I brought this up to you.
I know. Dev gave 3 or 4 things that we could do with this draft, and Adam turned them all
I
down.
turned. I'm really just all of the things on this list, except for traffic. I'm not traffic.
You know what? You know what a real pet peeve of mine is smelling other people's cooking when you go into a building. God, that's terrible.
You
I
don't-
cannot
Wait,
stand
what?
Like in an apartment.
in
you're
an
saying?
apartment complex. Even
whoa,
if it's like a food you like, you're like, I don't want to smell a pork chop right now, man. Take my mail.
But I mean, that's just like you're cooking in your apartment.
Other people's cooking.
I know,
The
but it's not
smell
like
of
they
other
open the
people's
door
cooking.
to blast it out the window. It just happens.
That's a lot of things like this. Like it's just
All right.
it doesn't mean that somebody's at fault. It's just a pet peeve.
Yeah. Okay.
It's my final one.
Your final one.
People that like interrupt you before you're done.
Hold on. I have a. Just kidding.
Mike went out.
Oh, your mic went
Your
out.
mic-
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
Did it really?
That's unbelievable.
It really did go out.
How do we sound now?
You sound good.
All right, say that again, Dev.
People that interrupt you before you're done. Like I don't even have the full thought process out. And also on that same token, people that try to finish your sentence for you. You're talking and they're like
annoying.
trying to get the last word on
Sometimes
it.
I do that. I hate it about
Like,
myself.
what are we doing?
What are we
here?
doing? Yeah.
It's like the Ben Stiller, Tom Cruise bit where he's like, we always finish each other's sentences.
Man, I should have had. I'll be honest. This is one's also not totally fair. I can't believe I forgot body odor.
Yeah.
I actually don't like it because I feel like it's preventable.
What, with Mando?
With Mando or,
Or
just
a
something
shower?
like
Is
that
that,
an
or
ad
brushing
read?
your teeth,
Or acknowledging that you're not the only person on
somebody,
Earth?
yeah, exactly. I feel like it's your duty to be like, I want to make sure I don't smell bad
Yeah,
for
but-
everyone else's benefit.
Yeah.
For the snake draft, I wish we would have broke this down in like
Types?
friendship, family,
Yeah,
relationship, work.
It's
Like
so
I
true.
feel like this could have pet peeves could have been in different. I hope that you guys do more of them in like different ones because pet peeves is a good one.
I think, Dev, you might win this draft. Buddy.
I almost had slow walkers,
Uh-oh, Dev.
What's happening here?
but I didn't want it. I didn't want anyone to think.
I kind of have fast walkers, to be honest, on my...
That's what mine's.
But
was.
Dev's
Yeah.
such a slow walker that it's not a pet peeve. You just leave him behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
he's
guys
like,
just
you
like
all
leaving.
agree to just leave him.
The funniest thing that's actually a true story is that when the Nuggets won the championship, we left Dev. It was going to take too long to get back. We just left him.
Oh, because he was dressed like the Nuggets jeans guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't he was walking slow.
It's
It's
a
that he
little
was
both.
unable to walk because he was
Local
surrounded.
celebrity.
Yeah, he was not a
Like-
local celebrity. He was a international celebrity.
International. All right, what do we got? Super chats.
Kyle M. Hey, Dev.
He knew it was going to be Dev today.
What up,
Good
Kyle?
call, Kyle.
That's my boy.
Hey,
Good
Dev
call.
is right. History Channel 5280. We should just hire Brucey B as the GM.
People are infatuated with Brucey.
We really are.
Michael Porter Truther, long time no chat. If OKC had Gordon or MPJ at power forward over Chet, it's 3-0 OKC.
Dude, Chet is really taking some a tough hit here, which deservedly so, man.
Diz, all the hate Pickett got from Denver fans, going to be tenfold from Russ fans. I don't know how much more my guy can take.
It's true, man. I mean, this is the thing about Russ is the experience is tough, and it's because his haters are so loud and his fans are so loud. It's tough.
Everything is loud.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, that was a quiet Russ game. Let's see what the
Did
timeline.
he even play?
Oh, the timeline is being very quiet about Russ tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Did he
No.
get into the game? I don't remember.
Maddox, despite my optimism, the no GM yet is worrying me.
I will say this: I mean, look, you could be cause for concern. I know the Nuggets are plugging away at a plan anyway. So whoever it is, I know the Nuggets have irons in the fire.
Macaru.
Cliche bastard.
If we don't trade for, if we don't,
The sayings are great. They come from like all these walks of life. You
I'm
know,
gonna
that's
interrupt
what
you really
makes
quick
them
because
great.
we got to
Yeah,
get
sorry.
through these super chats. Macaru, if you don't trade for a perfect guy like Cam, Murphy, Markkanen, or Holiday, would you guys still trade 2 for 1? Even if Peewatt has to go into the starting lineup, sink or swim situation like Christian Brown.
It's an interesting thought. The Nuggets do need depth, and I do
Yeah.
think depth is more important than any one guy not named Jokic and maybe Jamal, maybe Aaron Gordon. So CB falls into that category, but it would have to be the right 2 guys, man. It'd have to be the right 2.
It would. And Peewatt played well in the starting lineup.
He did
Given
play
the
well.
Opportunity. So
P. White could have a CB like year if
he
he
absolutely
plays
could. I
many
would call
minutes
that
a game.
internal development.
Yeah.
Josh Bonnet from Down Under. That's how Australians sound.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Pet peeve: winter solstice. It's so bloody cold right now.
Oh man, this is the opposite, huh?
I know,
we are
right?
getting we're approaching my favorite day of the year, summer solstice,
Summer
man.
That was
solstice.
going to be your birthday.
Is it really just? Man, that's crazy how far away you live from us, brother. Okay, Jackson. Mine is when people won't drink water. You're a human being. Just drink the water.
That is such a weird. I'll be honest. I was
what?
I was a very bad water drinker for all the way until very recently. Now I'm drinking a lot of water.
So wait, like
I feel like I don't need water.
I think you need water.
I never. Well, I'm saying like I don't need to like drink it. But you know what? One thing is true about me, and it's true to this day. I've never drank water while I'm playing basketball. I'm playing for 2-3 hours. I won't take a drink of water.
Me neither.
I don't like to.
I feel like it just swishes around.
It does. That's why. Then I'll drink a
swish
lot
around.
afterwards, but I don't like to drink during the game.
One of the best chats while we were doing the draft was their pet peeve was NBA media members who announced life news with basketball metaphors. Like a child or a marriage, like new starting point guard, 9 months.
You're right. That's a good one.
Whoever put that in the chat, shout
Class
out.
of 2045.
Lifetime
I just signed a
contract.
lifetime contract with the love of my life.
One guy changed it up and said, I decided to put an opt-out in every summer. I thought that was fun.
I realize one of my big pet peeves is this fucking industry that I found myself in.
Why?
Cliches, everything you guys are talking about. What am I doing here?
Dude, cliches are communal though, man. They can come from folklore. They get passed down. There's good ones.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Wow,
Everybody,
cool.
thanks for hanging out with us today. Tomorrow, Casual Friday. Can't wait for it. Hit the like button on the way
Let's
out.
go.